So any questions? Hello, Frank.
Hey, so the fact that you're sitting there teaching and we're here listening as students, quote unquote, that's just a play within consciousness. Is it random or is it consciousness deliberately saying, I'm going to use this body mind to teach and I'm going to have these body minds be students? like to get your thoughts on that.
So you could say everything is random and nothing is random. Obviously, the interest in truth appeared to you, whether it's random or not random, it's significant. It's what do you do with it? And it's up to you. And it's not random what you do with it. It's up to you. It's your decision. Because the message that you receive is you are that, which is different from you are Frank. So is the sun shining right now random or not random? That's what's happening. That's obviously the order of the day in this moment. And in a way, who cares? Because sun is shining here, but maybe in India it's nighttime. Although the sun is always shining, it's nighttime. So the impression of mind is just what it is. You could say it's random because simultaneously the mind is a sunshine mind and simultaneously the mind is nighttime mind. They're both simultaneous. There is no precedence or no higher certitude about mind A, meaning daylight mind, versus nighttime mind. It's the same mind. But what matters is to know yourself. It's the contemplation is not the contemplation of the mind. It's the contemplation of the self. That you are the reality of all minds. You are the reality of all events. Because all events are mind events, and mind appears to you means appears to consciousness.
So would you say that manifestation is both by design and random? Is it one of those paradoxes? Or are you saying this just doesn't matter at all because if we're looking at manifestation, we're already off kilter? We really should be
No.
concentrating on the self, on noumenon.
Well, your interest has to be clear to you. What is it that you're interested in? Um, the all manifestation refers to the unmanifest. I mean, that's very interesting. That there is no manifestation outside of the unmanifest. In other words, there is no perception outside of consciousness, right? There is no manifestation outside of the invisible reality of consciousness. Now, that's very interesting. Whether it's random or preordained, preordained by whom? Somebody who's bound by the principle of preordainment? That's contrary to God's freedom. There are no designs or concepts that can refer to God's absolute freedom, to the absolute freedom of consciousness. And if there is a grand design, that grand design is not absolute because God can change its mind at any moment. Because that's the freedom of and if God's creation is random, then God is random. But you could say that God plays a game of randomness or plays a game of predetermination. If such thoughts serve you in some way, but I'm always inviting you to the understanding about the source and to be that understanding. From the mind, you will always find the mind. Using the mind, in the mind, via the mind, you will find mind, meaning infinite thoughts, theories, concepts, comparisons, models, structures, designs. But in the mind and via the mind, you will not find no mind. We are talking about no mind. Because freedom is not in the mind or via the mind or by the mind. is direct. And what do you value more than freedom, love, and beauty? Nothing, right? Because everything in the realm of mind, world, and body are fleeting, they're impermanent, they're illusory like sensations and thoughts and images. But you will not find yourself in the realm of illusions and thoughts and sensations. Because you are the viewing aspect. You are not viewed. You're not perceived. So mind is random and not random.
Okay. I can leave it there. Thanks, Magdi. Appreciate it.
Hello, Ambika.
Hi, Magdi. So I am trying to be the self in the, or not be the body mind in the real life, in the day to day, whatever happens, right? What it would be a general principle so I do not get involved or do not put myself into the body mind assumption. Like when it comes to love, when it comes to anger, when it comes to emotions, sensations, whatever, a part of it has to be the mind anyways when it's external. And I think at the emotional level, it's not good to be the mind. Right. But how do I draw the line? What is the general principle? Is there anything that you can tell me? How do people do that? Not getting involved. What kind of decisions can the mind do, and where can I stop reacting? So leave it or surrender it, let it be. Just wait and see what happens. I mean, what is the line? Where is the line?
It's always now. So right now in this moment, what is happening? Is there agitation? And what perceives this agitation? There is a perceiving aspect. So there is perceived agitation. There are sensations. There are perceived sensations. There are thoughts. And this shouldn't be like this. She shouldn't speak to me that way. The perceived thoughts. You are the perceiving element. What is perceived are images on the screen. If you fall in love with the image on the screen, or if you have an aversion to what is appearing on the screen, there is no peace. Because now you are involved in the images on the screen. You may view thoughts that justify your involvement. These thoughts may feel convincing for you. So you get involved with the images on the screen. And then you can view the consequence of your involvement. Is my involvement bringing peace? Or is my involvement creating more confusion and conflict? There are some situations where it makes sense to be involved with that which is perceived, that which we perceive. If we perceive somebody needing help in crossing the street, we may help them to cross the street. And it's very beautiful and very loving and sweet. There is a kind connection. The person holds your arm and whispers, "Thank you. It's very kind of you." It's very loving. So we view the mind. We view the world. We view the body. So there is an involvement and there is a non-involvement. And the wisdom lies in the non-involvement. In being. Because being is not involved, and yet it is the creator and the viewer, but it's not involved. It is not trying to save somebody. It is not trying to save one's family, one's children, one's future. It's not. It is purely loving being, peaceful being, the peace of being. Ambika,
Yes.
the body-mind Ambika, is equipped, like all body-minds, with what is necessary for survival and procreation, given that there is a time limit to the survival of any mind, any body mind. But there is no psychological entity. The self, reality, is not a psychological entity. It's pure being, the light of awareness. And this is what life is about. It's about arriving to the understanding about your true nature. Which you already are. But when you get personally involved, in other words, when you perceive the events from a personal perspective, you maintain the sense of separation. You reinforce the illusion of personal me, mine, and my. Allow the universe to universe. Allow the universing of the universe. Be light-handed. Proceed lightly, feather-like. Be flexible. Be accommodating. Do not be so focused on you, me, me, me. Be transparent. Discover what it's like to be no one. To be everyone. Be available for this understanding. Not just repeating the past, repeating your conditioning. Don't live solely subject to the past, to what you know. Invite the mystery. Allow God to live itself. Trust that all is well. Anytime we're defending yourself, you're defending a ghost. Of course, except if you're defending your body against somebody trying to cause you harm. Do not live in contraction and fear and worry. It's not happy. It's toxic. It's always now, in the moment. Am I perceiving from a personal, limited perspective? Am I thinking and acting from this personal perspective? Or am I open? So you want to be open.
Does openness mean desirelessness?
Yes,
Zero desires.
desirelessness. All desires are seeking their ending.
Mm.
Active desire, seeking what? Its ending. Moment of desirelessness is happiness.
Okay.
In the openness and as the openness, there is magic. The doors are absent. The gates are not there. The whole universe comes to you at your service. Be open to the unknown, to the mystery.
Mm.
Abundance doesn't come from the mind, from effort, from seeking, from desiring. It comes from God, from love, from being, from openness. Always available. The mind has a tendency to lock in, like a radar. It just locks in on an object.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't know the freedom, the availability, the abundance. It doesn't know that. Just seeking.
Mm-hmm.
It's exhausting.
Yeah. Mind wants to keep nice things. There's fear of losing nice things.
Yes. Fear.
Mm.
What joy is there in fear?
Mm.
We see in this moment, you are happy. There's no worry, no concern. You see. We come to Satsang to get a taste of our true self. of our true home, of our true being. But it's not meant just for satsang.
Mhm.
It's meant for you to recognize yourself and to be yourself and live as that, live as the self which you are. The mind, it follows, it's a puppy. It's not the boss. It's the puppy, the pet. Don't make it your boss.
Mhm.
You are the boss. So you live freshly. Every moment, fresh being. Can let go of the past. Discover this moment, the moment of openness, peace, love, beauty, friendship, exploration. Not the good old
Mm.
worries and concerns. Right?
Okay. So experience all the good things in the now and don't expect or don't no desire that it should be there forever.
Well,
It can be nice now and it may not turn out to be not nice later. Not so we should cling on to something that's nice.
don't cling on, right?
Don't expect that it's going to be nice
Oh,
later on.
is expectation happy?
It might be or it might not be. I just have to be open for it.
How is expectation happy? Peace is happiness. Fulfillment is happiness. No lack is happiness. Expecting something to happen for our happiness, there's no peace in that. There's no peace in expectation. So whatever images appear on the screen, they appear on the screen. We remain as we are. They appear and disappear. They appear and disappear. You are not somebody who is lacking something. That's a mind illusion. If the body,
start again.
huh?
I start again from the wrong point, from the wrong assumption that I'm the body, right?
If the body is hungry, it's going to tell you, time to feed me. Right? It will tell you.
Right. Who likes what should be the question.
Well,
And then it's
there
clear that I'm starting at the wrong place.
there are some aspects, some characteristics of the body-mind, and they differ from body-mind to body-mind. Some people have a sweet tooth, other people like a more different taste.
Mm-hmm.
Some body minds are more creative, and they enjoy conceptual thinking. Other body minds are more, they like to fix engines, build houses. But that these differences belong to the body mind. But you are the invisible awareness. You follow?
Yeah. And the question is it okay to let the body mind be involved in things that it likes?
It's up to you. Why
Mm.
not? What's the problem? I have a sweet tooth. Every now and then I indulge, and Tara comes and tells me, okay, easy, Magdi. What's the problem?
Mm.
Except if we are identified with the body, say, oh my God, what's going to happen to me? Well, there are some consequences to indulging in eating too much sweets. And these consequences, they are for the body. And of course, we are the manager of the body. I would rather not be dealing with an ill body, with an unhealthy body. So
Mhm.
I apply some moderation. But it could be that I decide not to apply moderation, and then I'm dealing with a sick body, an unhealthy body. And I'll do my best with that. In the end, all bodies are going to reach the same destination. But I agree with you that it's more intelligent to enjoy the body as best we can and not to make things more difficult for the body. But above all, you need to understand that you are not the body.
Mhm.
You're the manager of the body, and you're celebrating the body as best you can. Sometimes it's very challenging, and sometimes it's easier.
Mhm. So even if the body indulges in its likes and dislikes, I don't have to be, I need not to be. And it's possible that I am not.
Of course, you are never. You are not the body.
Yeah, but isn't it being recorded as my vasana, and then is it not coming back to me? Is it
What
not impacting me?
When you say me, what are you referring to?
The self awareness.
So
But
awareness is not affected by the body. Awareness
mm,
is aware of the body, perceives the body. When you perceive rain, you're the perceiving element.
right, awareness is not.
Awareness doesn't get wet when it's raining and doesn't catch on
Mhm.
fire when there is a fire.
So the vasanas, the habits, and all of that is only limited to the body,
Yes,
body mind. I'm
absolutely.
untouched by it.
Absolutely.
And I just have to realize even if the body and the mind get repeatedly involved because of the habits and the recordings of the body mind, I am awareness and I'm not touched by it. I don't.
Yes,
It's just that.
absolutely.
There is no point in practicing desirelessness or not eating sweets.
No, but
Turning your habits.
but it makes sense to be moderate when it comes to eating sweets. not to myself.
Okay, when we talk about something physical like sweets, yes, but when we talk about something like anger or addiction and so on.
Well, anger arises from some identification. How dare you speak to me this way? So me being Ambika or Magdi. Because consciousness cannot get insulted, cannot get offended or get angry. What is it that gets angry?
Okay.
It's just a resistance, a rejection, an opposition, which is unhappy and creates conflict, right?
True.
We can learn. We learn from those emotions. We learn what it is like. It's pretty miserable. And what the consequences are. They're pretty miserable consequences. So we learn, aha, that's not a good direction. It's not a good direction. And we can also understand that I get insulted because I take a certain position about me and about you. I take a certain position about the universe. I say, okay, I am such and such and such a person. You are such and such a person. And here are the conditions. It's true that in life there are ways in which we relate to each other that are harmonious. We don't steal from each other. We don't abuse each other. So we can take action, and I do take action when somebody insults me. I close the door, I hang up the phone, but I don't buy into it. I don't experience this anger. There is a moment of flash of, oh, distasteful. That's distasteful. I hang up the phone and it's okay. It's up to the other person to deal with their vasana. But here, there is clarity that I am not insulted. You cannot insult me. You cannot abuse me or hurt me. None of that. Because I am not abusable. I am not insultable as consciousness, as reality. So psychologically, there is nothing that I'm defending. I'm not defending a psychological being, a ghost or an imaginary self. There's no identification.
And the same applies to lust and fear and all of that.
Absolutely. Fear. I mean, fear can arise in the moment if there is a cobra that, you see a cobra in the garden, you're walking in the garden, there is fear, but that's physiological. It's not psychological.
Mm-hmm.
So there is a physiological fear.
Right.
And there is action. I'm going to run away.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But there is no psychological fear.
Mm-hmm. And lust is only psychological.
Well, lust is different from the biological mechanism that operates, for procreation.
Mm-hmm.
Lust has a psychological aspect. There is an image factory.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So there is a sort of addiction that goes hand in hand with lust. So lust is a way in which we maintain this tension, this inner tension. It's an addiction to inner tension.
Mm-hmm. When you say inner tension, do you mean a sensation?
Well, all physiological events are sensations in a way, but there are sensations and sensation. There is a sensation of your feet on the ground.
Okay.
There is a sensation of a toothache. And there is the sensation in your chest of anger.
Mm-hmm.
There is a sensation of lust,
Mm-hmm.
missing something, and this is unfulfilled desire.
Mm-hmm.
So all of these that appear to us, all these emotions, they are available to us for our contemplation, for our understanding. They're helpful for us to come to the understanding about how to live as the self, as consciousness, rather than a lusting entity. Because lust has a toxic aspect to it and a promise of fulfillment, a pleasurable promise.
Mm-hmm.
But in the moment of lust, it is toxic. It is lacking. It's a powerful sense of lack.
Mm-hmm.
There's a promise of a fulfillment, an expectation.
It's not real.
Only thing that is real is not a thing. Reality is it's not a thought. You're right. It's not real in that it is part of the psychological dynamics that can help us to understand how to live non-psychologically, meaning how to live as peace, as presence, as being, not as a psychological entity.
And how does lust help us understand that? Sorry, I'm missing that.
Well, we can, if we're interested, see that lust is unhappy, painful. There's a deep sense of lack. And we can see that
Mm.
in lust, there is really no fulfillment. It's a promissory note. There is a promissory note. There's no fulfillment. So we can also, with some guidance, see how lust is a mechanism of avoidance. Avoiding being.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And every time we adopt a certain avoidance mechanism, it's unhappy.
We lose. Yeah.
Because being is happiness. We can come to that understanding that being is happiness. And the lusting mechanism, the vasana of lust, is an inner tension and an inner contraction with a promissory note, which the whole thing is unhappy. So then the question arises, well, are we happy with unhappiness?
Seems to be for the moment, but it really isn't. No?
Right. We have to ask this question within ourselves deeply.
Mm-hmm.
And if we ask that question deeply within ourselves, we will conclude that no, we are happy with happiness. So then the question is, can we let go of the lust? So the letting go of the lust is not to take the next step.
Not to take the next step in the body-mind capacity, right? Not as a body-mind.
Right. Not to take the next step with the body-mind.
Just be.
Not
and when you are.
Not to take the next step.
Okay. Just as the same with anger, do not
Yes.
get involved.
Not to take the next step.
Okay. Great. Thanks a lot.